Hi, I'm Snez, personal trainer, healthy lifestyle coach, and your guide to feeling your best. This podcast is a segment from my weekly radio show, Wellbeing Wednesdays, broadcast live on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. It's all about sharing real, practical tips to help you move more, eat better, and live healthier without the overwhelm. Let's dive in, shall we? Coming up next, today I wanted to talk to you to the part of you that might not believe change is even possible anymore. I meet so many people who tell me, oh, Snez, I just can't get healthy. My life is too busy, or my body is just too far gone. I just haven't done anything in such a long time. Or even I've tried everything and nothing works. And if that's you, I completely get it. And it's not that you're unmotivated, you're not broken, you're not too old, you're not lazy, you're not any of those things. You're just human. And like most of us, you're probably missing one of three key things that I find are always the blocks for people. And that is knowledge, structure, or belief. And I'm going to break down all of those different areas. So sometimes people can't change because they simply just don't know what to do. And I get this all the time. And it's just like, I always say, if I want to build something at home, say I want to build a new chicken coop, because that's what I actually do want to do at the moment. I want to get our chickens back. So I head over to Bunnings. I've got the goal. I know what it looks like. I know what I want to use it for and how it's meant to look and where I'm going to put it. But then I get to Bunnings and I don't even know where to start. Like, what do I need? How do I make this? That's the first thing. So I can have the good intentions, I can have the goal in place, and it can be crystal clear. But unless I have the knowledge of firstly what to buy and how to put it all together, I'm going to struggle. And so people oftentimes feel that as a result of their lack of knowledge, it means that they can't change. And there's so much conflicting information online, whether it be diets, workout programs, supplements. It can be really overwhelming. So instead of starting, like I probably would if I walked into Bunnings, I'd be like, oh, and I'd probably back away slowly and think, maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe I actually can't do this. And I really just like that word can't. So, but if you try something random, as I could have in that situation, and just bought a bunch of materials and just tried to, glue things together or whatever, it's not going to work and it's not going to stick. And it's the same with the changes in your life. So the most important thing is recognizing, do you just not know how to do it? And regardless of how much education you have, regardless of what position you hold in your life, at work, at home, how much responsibility you do and don't have, if you feel that you should just know this stuff, like it's so basic, don't feel bad about that, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. But also feeling that you should know and not going out learning is just keeping you stuck. You're actually not progressing or moving forward as a result. So the most important thing is just to identify, well, what is it that you need to know how to do? What are the skills that you need to learn, or what do you need to discover to be able to make those changes? Do you need to learn more about eating whole food? Do you need to learn more about strength training? How do you actually do that? What are the steps? What are the exercises? How much? How often? All of those questions. Or whether you need to learn a little bit more about the impact of hydration and sleep. And so what is it that we need to learn and discover and do to be able to make the changes? Because there is nothing worse than sitting in frustration, which would be me at the door of Bunnings, wanting terribly to make that chicken coop, but not knowing how to begin. I could stand there for hours looking around, or even scrolling the aisles, doing a whole bunch of time wasting, and nothing's actually improving. So the first thing is, make sure that you get some basics of knowledge and really keep it nice and simple. So if I was going back into Bunnings and I was wanting to build this thing, I'm going to build something pretty basic. Might be just a nice square structure that I could just get started. But I know that I can build on that, and I can learn, and I can do add-ons and develop, or I can upgrade to a better one once I learn to make something more advanced. So it's about starting somewhere, and foundational knowledge and the real basics, it works. And you have to know what matters and get rid of all of the other noise that we feel that we should be attending to, whether it's, what supplements to take or the best type of exercise or making sure that we're including this in our diet, making sure there's too many things that we feel that we should be doing to actually improve our health. And this is one of the biggest things I think that keeps us stuck, which is a gap in knowledge. So what you can do is identify this gap and then go out and take the steps to find the information that you need. The next thing is the process gap. So then there's a gap in the process. So you might know what to do, but you don't have the structure or the support to follow through. So in the case of me being at Bunnings, I could get all the tools that I need and all the equipment that I need, all the materials that I need, but I come home and if I still don't know the process of what goes together and how to line things up and the whole thing, if I don't get any support of how to put those materials together and how to use the tools, then I'm no better off. So once you have the knowledge of what you need to do, you still need to have a process. And when it relates more to healthy lifestyles, it's very much about having routines in your life. So routines and processes that then you can just put on autopilot so that you don't forget. That's a big thing that I get. I just forget to do this. Or when you have a process, you can include it within your day. So a lot of the times we feel that we don't have the time to make healthier choices because we believe it's going to be a whole bunch of extra work that we don't really have time for to do. So when you have a process, even though your days may be busy, you have a list that you can follow through with, a routine, you have a plan, or you might have a supportive group that you can go to, a trainer, a class where you just follow along. And we remove the process altogether and you can just follow along and it takes the thinking out of that. So something that anchors you into action, especially when you're sort of thinking, I don't know about this and maybe this is feeling too hard, you need to have that process and that follow through, that support system to keep you going. So you don't need a huge 12-step transformation, but you need to just change one little habit at a time and just starting small. So don't try and tackle everything at the one time. You just need to start with some basics and build from there. The next thing is the belief gap. Now, this is the one that I find really stops people from getting started, and especially with people that I work with, it's big. And so many people that believe that change is not possible for them. They think that they're the exception to the rule, that their body won't respond, or that their life is just too busy or too messy, that they always fail. And it's like, I find it really hard to listen to that because there's so many aspects of myself that I feel the same way in different areas. So I really genuinely get it. But the thing is that belief system, majority of the time, isn't actually true. But what it does is it creates itself because we don't then take those steps. Because, well, if you think you can't achieve something, if I feel that there's an immovable rock in my garden that I need to move out of the way to create my chicken coop, I'm not even going to bother trying because it's immovable, right? So if we don't believe that change is possible for us, then we won't even take the step. And I've seen 80-year-olds build muscle. I've seen exhausted mums getting more energy and motivation, making healthy changes. I've seen women going through those menopause years that are just feeling that brain fog and the sore joints and the weight gain and feeling like nothing is going to work and that they're stuck. I've seen people lose weight, change their lives, and even lose weight without even counting a single calorie or documenting their food. And the thing is that change is very possible, and it's very possible for you out there listening today. It's just about getting beyond that mindset that it's not something that you can do, or you just feel it's too hard and you've just parked the goal or the dream. And there is nothing better than being well. There's nothing better than having energy and strength for your life and keeping illness at bay. So I will continue to encourage you to keep going. But the thing is, change can only start after you believe that it's possible for you, because that's when you start taking the steps. And look, as I said, I've felt this way in many parts of my life. And I remember when I was building my business, I had a business coach in the initial stages who showed me the exact steps. It was like, okay, Snez, we're going to do this first and then this and this and this. And because it felt too simple and it felt too straightforward, and I thought, this isn't going to work for me, surely. Like, this can't be this easy. And I just can't see in my overwhelm that I'm feeling at the moment, I'm struggling to pay the bills, how this simple solution is going to change everything for me. And I tried a million different things. I got overwhelmed. I lost time and I lost energy. And the thing is that rather than taking that nice straight path to success, which my coach was trying to outline for me, I went in a million directions. But the thing is, I did make progress, and eventually I did come back to the basics and I stuck with them. And it worked. And over time, the formula started to become quite clear. So I know that when I'm working with people, it can be quite overwhelming when I can see the formula. I can see if people, start moving and change their eating habits, their food choices, and drink more water and get better sleep, and all of these things. They're all significant points that make quite a big impact. But when I see people that feel like it's just impossible, I can see the formula. And if you follow the formula, it works. But it taught me that progress doesn't come from doing everything, though. This is the biggest thing. It comes from doing the right things and being consistent, even when you're doubting the process, even when you're doubting yourself, even when you think that nothing's going to change. That's when you're on the cusp of change. And so I think if you've been feeling stuck and you say to yourself a lot, I can't do this, then what I want you to take away from this segment is you're not too late. You're not too far gone. There's nothing that you can't undo. And the version of you who feels stronger, healthier, and calmer, that is a possibility for you. That version already exists. It's just a matter of you taking those steps and walking towards that person and starting small, picking one thing, whatever it is today. And if it doesn't feel perfect, great. That is the absolute ideal situation, because that's real life. And when it doesn't feel perfect and it does feel a bit messy, just like I kept going, you can't let that self-doubt stop you from taking the next step. And you can change, and I'll be here every single week to remind you of that. So making sure that you are shifting that belief system, learning, putting some processes in place, and knowing that you absolutely can change and you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And that is feeling better, getting stronger, improving your health. Improvements can be made to the degree to which you're prepared to make those changes. So get out there and make those changes. Thanks for joining me on this segment from Wellbeing Wednesdays, as heard live on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who might find it helpful, and subscribe so you never miss a show. Want to catch the live broadcast? Well, you can tune in Wednesdays from 12 till 2 p.m. on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM, or find my info on Wellbeing Wednesdays with Snez, the Facebook group. Take care, stay healthy, and remember, it's the little choices every day that create big changes. Talk soon.